What's up, guys? Today is gonna be a different type of video, mainly because while I was doing the last attempt of the Nuzlocke, the audio didn't save correctly. I think my OBS updated, and then I forgot to change my microphone settings. So yeah, I just look very stupid talking to absolutely nothing. So yeah, no audio got saved actually. But I still wanted to show you the final attempt of the Nuzlocke, the one that I actually did win. I also wanted to show you all of the battles, or at least the important ones, like boss battles, like the rival and the evil team leader. And honestly, there isn't much for me to add here. It was very similar to the first run, that I basically got almost swept all of the trainers. Although there are some battles that I am going to explain a bit, and you can see that I have some losses. But of course, I am going to explain it a bit later. Just wanted for the battles to finish. And yeah, here are the dead Pokemon. The Diglett died with Planet Surge. Honestly, it's just a really bad Pokemon. So it literally just died for no reason. The Machop, it's a slow Pokemon, I came to understand. So when Giovanni, I with the last hit, actually just got killed. Not last hit, not the last Pokemon. It was, I think, on the Kangaskhan. Well, you could see in the other fight. But yeah, pretty slow, and it didn't just really sucked. And in the same fight, by accident, I misused the Kadabra, and it died for basically no reason. It was a misplay, more honestly. Nothing much to it. I mean, I know it's frail, but I thought I could just overpower anything. But I was being a little silly with it, honestly. And the Victreal, I don't know if I remember if I explained it. Yeah, I think I should. There was a Marowak on the Marowak on the Pokemon Tower, and it crit me. I mean, of course, because it was a poison type, probably didn't even hit the crit to kill me. But like, this Pokemon didn't even completely, like, it was a 4-shot in order to completely kill the Marowak. And here I'm explaining the Pokemon that I brought on the Elite Four. In Leopard is a returning Pokemon. It carried me a lot, so of course it was gonna return. Gengar here basically because it resists, well, it has immunity to fighting, and because you can pull out a lot of moves on it. And it's also a pretty fast Pokemon, so I thought it was gonna be really good bringing Gengar in here. You have Nidoqueen. Yeah, it's a similar story to Gengar, and it has a lot of resistances to a lot of important Pokemon. And also because it has a lot of coverage. So in generally, I was thinking, well, good typing and good coverage, these are pretty good Pokemon to bring. I have, of course, Grass, Fighting, Flying, and Dark. So you can see my reasoning here. Snorlax is a fairly straightforward Pokemon to bring. Of course, I didn't get Margarine, the Caterpie, in this run, so Snorlax was the one to start as the other Pokemon whenever possible. I mean, Jolteon, again, you kind of need a electric type, so I brought back Jolteon instead of Pikachu because it's faster and has more special attack. So again, it was pretty obvious to bring Jolteon. Oh yeah, I was explaining that I brought all the Thunderbolts. I actually did not bring a Shadow Ball for any of the fights, and I just brought Thunderbolt. I got the traded in Jinx. Mostly because I wanted a really good Psychic type, so, and it's also an Ice type. So even though it has a few weaknesses, I think this Pokemon was gonna be really good to bring. I think Psychic is also a pretty good Pokemon to have, and that's why I brought my own. Yeah. We here start the battle. Honestly, in the beginning, it's very straightforward. Knowing that I just needed to bring an electric type because of course the majority are water types. Actually, one thing that I can explain that is more interesting is that you can see that this is the attempt number 3 and attempt number 2. And what happened with attempt number 2, and I lost that footage as well. But yeah, all of these Pokemon are just gonna be flips basically. So the first Pokemon. Okay, I got distracted. What I was saying is that when I got to Misty, she confused both of my Pokemon with water bolts, and they hit themselves, both of my Pokemon. So I just couldn't do anything. It was just straight up bad luck. Also, I got a bit out of the parts, but I also used more berries because of course they are very good when they matter. Mostly the one that's that cures confusion, and the one that cures sleep. In this battle, yeah, you're definitely gonna see them. They're gonna be important. Not exactly on Jolteon, except if anything, I thought it would just completely sweep. Or if I don't remember correctly, because it doesn't have a berry to cure confusion. It was, I think, between a berry that cures sleeps or a citrus berry. Yeah, I mean, here I was like, maybe I could hit another Thunderbolt. Maybe I can just switch. Because, I mean, it didn't sweep, right? So the main plan was just trying to sweep. Or at least, that's the main decision that I run with all of the Pokemon. So yeah, we need full restore. And then it didn't pan out. So here I was really wearing that another self hit and then a damaging move from the other Lapras. So I just really did not want it to risk any Pokemon, because I mean, every Pokemon is gonna be needed for the coming fights. So I don't know if actually I'm playing too safe. I mean, I just play, blindly. I don't use a clicker or anything like that. I just with the Pokemon that I see that have good stats, and then I just go with them, right? Here I was thinking my options. Usually I cut off all of these waiting time, but this is already a different type of video, so you're just gonna see all of the process and all the time that I actually wasted. Honestly, I overthink sometimes. But yeah, okay, no, this Lapras is on purpose. You're gonna see why. Not water absorb, that's kind of whatever. I'm still kind of upset that it's faster than mine. Pretty bad. But anyway, yeah. You got the Person Berry, and I set up Safeguard. And I know that these Lapras can no longer confuse any other Pokemon. Body Slam is dead. Yeah, I was thinking in like, just a quick lovely kiss, but it went for body slams. So I was kind of thinking that maybe did another confuse rate. I mean, yeah, confuse rate. But of course, that was maybe kind of stupid. So honestly, you could say it's a kind of waste of a turn. That it wasn't very needed. But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of times how Snorlax is basically gonna tank a lot of hits and then yawn the opponent. It's like the fallback too, knowing that Snorlax has a big amount of HP. Yeah. At first I was kind of happy that he got paralyzed, but I slowly then realized that it's probably not very great, or at least not very good synergy, because you want it to fall asleep because it gives you way more chances. And paralyze has a chance of making the opponent not move. But as you can see, if the Pokemon was asleep, I wouldn't take any of that damage. So yeah, actually the paralyze was not very great. And here I knew I was faster either way, so it didn't matter. I knew I was gonna kill it either way. But maybe it could have gotten crate or something, so that was not very good. Here the Jinx, what was the counter? Oh yeah. And of course this thing is gonna have a chest to vary. It was on purpose. The Lapras was on purpose, the person berry for the other Lapras, and here this Gengar had I chased the berry on purpose exclusively for the Jinx. And I got a crit. Actually don't know how important was that crit, because I don't know if Gengar is faster. I know it's a very, very, very fast Pokemon. But I mean, if I was confident, maybe because I checked my Jinx in comparison to the Gengar, so I think it was probably okay, but I actually don't remember which Pokemon is faster. I'm gonna go to Bruno. Yeah, it was a little annoying. It's not that difficult, but you kind of just have to deal with the Onyx. Otherwise, you could just have very, very good counters. Yeah, okay, but this one I didn't know necessarily that it was a guaranteed kill, but I mean the Onyx has a really, really bad special defense, so it was kind of almost free. Okay, the one thing that I did not want it to do was to just try it and see if Jinx sweeps. I know it's super effective and I know I'm faster, but if I don't kill with one hit all of the Pokemon, I get effective hit against me because they fighting and rock against ice. I mean, mostly the fighting, if I remember correctly, for the rock. And of course, Jinx has really bad defenses, so I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna risk it. In my mind, it was just way safer to or hit Gengar, so that I cannot be hit with any punching moves. And like the other thing that they can hit me with is Rock Tomb. Yeah. Also, knowing the moves that Pokemon have is actually kind of broken now that I actually knew the information. That was remember back to Lorelei, and for example, neither the Jinx nor the Slowbro have psychic moves. For example, so if I knew that in my first run, probably my Machamp would have just swept like almost every Pokemon there, but I just did not know that. And of course, the only move that I could maybe have worried about these fighting types is the Rock Tombs that some Pokemon have. Okay, the battle here with Hitmonchan is actually kind of funny, because I remembered, oh yeah, of course, I have an immunity to fighting. But then I didn't factor in that I couldn't hit the fighting type back with a ghost move. So I was like, oh wait a minute, I have immunity, but that also means I can't hit them back. So it was kind of funny, honestly. So here it's kind of just battle of attrition. Although I do gotta say that even though I can't hit him back with a very effective move, it's just still better. At the end of the day, they maybe could miss a Rockton that is not very accurate. And have better moves than that. So it wasn't horrible. Queen here, I also resists. This is one of the moves that was really useful. They're aerial links. Yeah, I didn't just like place random moves on the Pokemon. Although courage moves that I taught them were on purpose for the type of Pokemon, some type of Pokemon. For example, I resist, in this occasion I resist fighting and give it Aerial Ace to Nidoqueen so I can have a super effective move. And also because Nidoqueen is has more physical attack than special attack. Now the other Onix. There's a lot of things that actually the Onix could do to damage me. So I don't remember being straightforward. The only thing that I knew that was a good thing for me to happen is like, okay, I am poisoned and Earthquake is a super effective move. So it was for me a safe breath to... Yeah, wait a minute, I think I did switch. Well, I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, I totally did. So to activate the Levitate on the Earthquake. And then just kill. Yeah, you see, like, it's not even a grass type, and he just killed because that's how low the special defense is for Onix. From here on out, I was like, okay, now they can only throw rocks at me against my Gengar. So I kinda just went with whatever. Although I do gotta say that in any case or a situation that one of my Pokemon will die to this Machamp, there was a possibility for it being kinda bad. But like, not so really. Because I know that Machamp is, like, now that I've used them in my team, like, he's super slow. So if any Pokemon would die for any reason, I would just go for Jinx and probably one-shot. While having a Machamp at lower HP, of course. This is probably the only fight where I thought of more being defensive than offensive. Probably being offensive would have been way better. I just thought that this Pokemon would have really high attack for some reason though. It is like the only trainer that I actively would like, okay, I need more a defensive strategy. I think that critical was needed right there to kill. Otherwise it would have still gotten a bit of HP left. wasn't critical per se. It was critical. It wasn't like too important. Oh yeah, the foresight. So I am clueless, or I was clueless into how foresight actually functioned. Because when it hit me with the mega kick, I was like, super confused. If it was a crit, I would have been just like completely dead, like absolutely dead. So that crit was actually super important. I also, of course, had the Neo Queen and the Psychic type, but yeah. I actually lost my immunity because of Foresight. I just thought that Foresight guaranteed you to hit, but that is not true. So, yeah, I just completely just did not know. Okay. In my first attempt, I knew I completely swept Agatha. But I knew that this was gonna be different because Alakazam has more special attack and is quicker than Jinx. So to me, it was like, okay, like my Jinx has to prove herself here. He needs to be faster. And he needs to outright kill, of course. So yeah, well, in game I was very happy because this was the most important one. The first Gengar was important to kill like that. Because of that, I probably knew that like the other Pokemon will also be not so difficult to kill. If I got that Pokemon, the other ones could probably just like be swept in the same way. One thing that I did not do on this run is to fight against every trainer, because I mean I really think it was not needed, showing the fact that they are super easy, as well as some other like gyms. So honestly, I don't think it was necessary. I did get less money, but I got enough to buy the Thunderbolt, and that's it. Also, another thing that I actually remembered to do is regain PP for the fights. That's again one of the things. One of the reasons I died in my first run. Yeah. I learned, and so my Pokemon were actually ready when they were supposed to. Here. Well, yeah, I was just really afraid to be hit with a Shadow Ball. I know Gengar doesn't have a lot of attack, but my Jinx defense is so poor that I just did not want to risk it, so I think I switched. I definitely switched, I think. Yeah, like just no risk at all. Because I still gonna need Jinx for the dragons. So I was not gonna do that like at all. Maybe with Super Save, maybe I could have just killed it with the Gengar. I wanted to like save some turns, like maybe I could bite it. But I think again this was just a pointless switch, if I remember correctly. Yeah, well, I switched off anyway. I don't think I was actually thinking backwards, yeah. I mean, again, this was just like the best thing I could have done here. Again, because there was no way for me to be hit instead of Sludge Bomb. And of course, with Snorlax's ability, it cannot get poisoned. And of course, you just cannot get hit by any Shadow Balls, because you also have an immunity against ghosts. And here, like, again, Snorlax did everything it was supposed to do, right? So basically, let's say better Butterfree in some sense. I actually don't know if I would have brought Butterfree into the Elite Four. I probably would have, just because I like the Pokemon so much. Okay, here it was actually pretty easy. I just switched to my Gengar, and I was like, well, I mean, it's levels higher, so it's gonna be faster, and it's just gonna kill it. And yeah, well, that was completely right. Of course, choosing Dream Eater, because it has more damage. Same argument. Higher level, same type of Pokemon, and it's not even evolved. Like maybe the only way that Pokemon was gonna kill me if it created me back. I just didn't think that would happen. I don't know what I was thinking there. I don't remember. I was like, yeah, I should just mog this Pokemon. Yeah, just mogs. Also deathless. Well, actually, just deathless. Because my first run, my starter died. And of course, I wanted to kind of bring my starter, but the problem is fire can't really do much, and if anything, it's a kind of a liability in this game in general, which is funny because like you would think that fire red would mean that fire is good, but like it's the other way around. So kind of funny. Okay. Again, like because of me knowing which Pokemon they're gonna start with, it makes things like a whole lot of easier instead of just like knowing anything. Because this is a 4x effective, so yeah, not much to say. The Dragonairs. But yeah, I know these Pokemon have safeguards, so probably just switched. Although this makes me slightly upset in a way, because there was a possibility of me just doing completing this challenge in one attempt. And now that I know what moves Pokemon have, it was not as it's not as impressive. Because in the end of the day, there was like knowing what moves they have, like versus just what type they are or what type is the Elite Four member. It's just way different. Okay, there was a pretty good amount of crits in like this Elite Four in general. It was kind of wild, honestly. Yeah, no, don't risk it. Again, super safe. One thing that I did not check is the Pokemon stats in general. Because I could have seen which kill with each move, I guess. But to me it was enough just to know what items they have. I mean, no, not items, the moves. Also, okay, stats, but not in a way to know if the move kills. It's just stats in the way that this Pokemon is more specially defensive or more defensive or has more attack or more special attack. I did glance at those. Yeah, I was like not lost, but this is one of the few Pokemon that I was like I needed to pivot into something else instead of just straight up having an answer against it. Of course, when anything bad happened, I just switched to Snorlax. And then it boosted. Yep, I was a little worried about that. And then it happened again, yeah. Paralyzed instead of sleeping. Again, I was happy, but looking back at it, that was not that great. Yep, I'm realizing that it's actually not great. And I'll just look at his raw damage. And I crit would have killed me here. Like 100% killed me. So I realized I didn't do much and it just went away and switched it again. Yeah, this Pokemon I think was a very good candidate for me to sacrifice in something in order for me to get agility on safely. It's gonna go rock side, yeah. Look at the amount of damage. Straight up. Needed another one. And then yeah, I went for the wrong side, but things happened. Let's just say things happened. Yeah, that was super close. super close. Actually, I do think that the enemy saw kill. Unfortunately, we lived that. We barely lived that. I mean, yeah, this Stradberry didn't get much value. I mean, I didn't think that was gonna get that hurt. But we got out of there safely, right? Again, I think this move was a bit risky because I knew that any ice move against the Dragonite was gonna be basically a kill because again it's another forest. So if I knew if I even tanked one of the hits, I was gonna be okay. Oh yeah, and I was confident in this kill. I don't know why I was confident. I mean, I guess if you have a 4 tank weakness and you have a very high power with stab move, it's almost a done deal. Or at least that's how I think of it. Okay, here I got a little bit overexcited. I was like, okay, kill the Dragonite, so it's probably gonna kill the Dragonair. It isn't necessarily strictly true, mostly because Dragonair, even if it's lower level and a lower evolution, it's not a 4x. Super effective hit. But we killed in it either way. Again, with no deaths. And we only thing we have left is the champion. And there it is. So I actually just didn't look what Gary had, or say, or whatever my rival had. I thought that I beat him before with almost his like full team, and I knew what he's gonna start with, so I thought it was gonna be pretty easy. Well, yeah, the Pidgeot is faster, but if I knew if I just hit one Ice Beam, it was gonna be almost over. And it was. Yeah, I actually started with the Lapras exactly because I knew that it was a probability for him to switch into the Rhydon, because I think it's a ground or rock or something like that, and he could think he could hit me back. If I just hit a good move against it, I would have 2 kills straight up. And yeah, I was right. Okay, not entirely. I actually don't know if that crit was important. I could have maybe screwed myself if that crit was not important. But it's good that it happened. Yeah, switch against the grass type. That could hit him being a ghost type against a psychic type. Again, it's just a very was a purpose, because that was the exact matchup I wanted. And I hit him. I did not know if it was gonna be a no. But it missed. So again, that was pretty lucky. Maybe that miss could have actually been somewhat dangerous. I mean, it was only Giga Drain, but still, could have been something there. Yeah, I did not want it to get hit by a super effective psychic switch, knowing that I could tank a little bit with my psychic type, and because I have a nice move and well, Akazam doesn't. Even if Alakazam was faster. Yeah, even if I got crit, it didn't matter. Citrus Berry. I actually think the Citrus Berry was important because it got me out of crit range. I don't remember if I switched actually. Oh, I did. Okay, so that Citrus Berry was actually not the worst one. And yeah, Alakazam's physical defense is not great, so I just hit him. Yeah, okay, here I rested, knowing exactly that I was gonna take Future Sight and an attack from Arcanine, which of course in here was the Flamethrower. Yep. And I was like, you know what, I can switch. I can resist the Flamethrower with my ground type. You could say that bad things started when I got to this situation. Things definitely did start to go sideways. But I mean, I had 6 Pokemon against 2 Pokemon. I can genuinely just throw Pokemon at my rival and it wouldn't matter. I wanted to be deathless though. I really wanted for no Pokemon to die. But that just didn't happen, sadly. Yeah, I was like, man, could have been deathless. Deathless Elite Four. It wasn't. I knew it was gonna full restore. The good thing is that you can like waste the opponent's time when you know that they're gonna do a full restore. You can just like almost do a little damage. Like the crit definitely killed, by the way. Again, I was honestly pretty lucky because you could have maybe gotten another Flamethrower or something like that. Again, so I did kind of have a pretty good luck, honestly. Not with everything, but I do think it was mostly on my side. And the champion and the Elite Four. thought that I could use a rest, because if not, I was not gonna get a chance to do it. Okay, honestly, this wasn't the best switching. I could have honestly just sacrificed anything and then Thunderbolted twice, and it would have been over. Well, I mean, knowing obviously with hindsight, because I didn't know that it wouldn't just straight up kill. Anyway, I was just like, well, it has very low HP. I'm just gonna hit him once, and it's gonna be like totally fine. But he had another full restore. So yeah, I'm just gonna hit Giga Drain again here. And obviously I'm faster, so I was thinking that if I tank an attack, I win, of course, because I'm faster. Oh, okay, I was kind of laughing at my opponent. I was like, why are you rain dancing? And he used another full restore. Actually, I could have played better knowing that the champion has way more full restores. But I actually did not check that, so that was really, really, really my bad. It could have been really actually super dangerous. Yeah, I just spammed Giga Drain. And that it's gonna be a one-hit kill though. Yeah, with Ray Dance, Stab, and Hydro Pump, yeah, it was just, it's too much. It was like, okay, I'm gonna finish the job, I'm just gonna hit it once. And another full restore. Dude, I was kind of shouting at my rival. I was like, why are you cheating? I was like throwing accusations at him, forgetting that only I am banned from items and not my opponent. It was kind of funny. And it lived HP. Well, and as you may know, of course, my rival, the champion, finally ran out of full restores. And well, because the enemy does not know what abilities you have, so cured me and I just killed him. And yeah, that was my successful Nuzlocke. That it was, well, I guess not blind anymore because I got to the champion. So I kinda knew what the others had. But yeah, going back to it, I was not upset, but more so I could have just played better on my first run and actually got on the win. And actually, checking back on my first one, there was a lot of mistakes. So honestly, a better player could have definitely gotten through. Of course, again, there's some things that were more in hindsight. But still, I really think I could have played better. But still, I want to say it was kind of boring. It was kind of, honestly, a little bit. But I honestly still enjoyed doing this Nuzlocke. I actually kind of want to do more Nuzlockes. Oh yeah, I was laughing at it. I'd say. Okay, got distracted again. Anyway, yeah, I kind of want to do more. Even though it's probably not the most practical thing to do. I even made it the layout and everything, so probably gonna continue doing some more Nuzlocks. And of course with like actual recorded audio behind them, not this scuff thing that I'm doing right now, just commentating over the footage. and me like not speaking, even though my character is. And yeah, well, no, there isn't nothing much to say, nothing else to say. This was my team. It's pretty good team. You know, very obvious plan. Maybe the Nitty Queen wasn't super needed and I could brought something else. But I still think it was pretty good. So yeah. Pretty much about it. So see you in the next one, guys.